Well, he was a friend. I'm Danielle Metz.
I'm Robert Vaughn.
And this is the Danielle Metz Show. Quote, "We, the Canadian public, spent at least $500,000 saving Danielle's life during her 3-month stay in intensive care, just so that she can continue to post these videos. Oh, the injustice. No tax." Todd S. posted on my Facebook page in response to a recent Danielle Metz show called The Path to Freedom, a show which largely dealt with the implications of democracy and voting. Full disclosure, I personally know this individual and used to consider him a friend. But I haven't seen or spoke to him in quite some time as he moved away years ago. We're Facebook friends. He has posted some trolly comments on my posts previously. I just let them go because, frankly, I have better things to do. What caused me to stop and consider this particular snarky statement was the fact that it truly epitomized exactly how the left attacks the right. The show Todd was commenting on was not about socialized medicine, but that didn't matter. He had no cogent argument, so he decided to go full progressive. The Canadian public spent at least $500,000 saving my life, did it? Do you have a receipt for that, Todd? Also, what was my alternative exactly? I can't purchase private health care in this country to cover such catastrophic events. It's illegal. Did you want me to die, Todd? Is that what you wanted? Just because I disagree with you? And that's the difference between you and I. Todd, I can disagree with someone and not wish them ill, much less wish them death. I have many internet friends that are very much on the left. I may poke them from time to time with friendly jabs like, "Hey, Donald Trump seems to be doing pretty good as president. Discuss." But I would never attack them on such a personal level. So, Robert, am I taking this too personally? Or is he?
The guy's an ass. The guy's an ass. Really, and you should unfriend him. Don't have anything to do with him anymore. He's also left comments on our videos and our show before, and unkind ones. Well, that's fine. We let those ride, but when it becomes personal like that, I say, yeah, enough's enough from that guy. Here's another one that he's left on the Right to Anonymity, a show back in June 16th, where we talked about privacy, and you mentioned, I think, that you have Google Home.
Yes.
Yeah. His comment was, "I have Google Home. I'm worried about privacy. Lol, clown show." So we're having a clown show now because he can't understand an argument about privacy in the whole, and instead criticizes you personally, the ad hominem attack, because you happen to enjoy one device which you consent to have your privacy.
Exactly.
It's not invaded because you're consenting to it. And that was what the whole show was about, the level
You
of
missed the
consent
irony about the fact that we were talking about privacy when I was already consenting to have my privacy invaded by having that device.
It happens every single time you walk out the door,
Yep.
Todd. And so if every time you walk out the door your privacy is at risk, if every time you go to a mall and there's cameras there, your privacy is at risk, every time you spend on a credit card or a debit card or whatever, now that information is going to the government here in Canada, your privacy is at risk. It's called living. The difference that people like him can't understand is consent. Do you consent or don't you consent? The moral argument, is it right or is it wrong?
Exactly.
Those are issues that are a little too high up in the stratosphere for a person like Todd to understand. Because a lot of people, like Todd, think of things very superficially. They think of things very personally. They want to get in with the ad hominem attacks and the logical fallacies, and they have absolutely no idea what they're talking about. All they hear is, "my privacy, I have Google Home, so therefore your argument falls to the ground because you're willing to consent in this one area."
It's like a previous, another post I know he talked about the fact that Ayn Rand took Social Security. Well, duh, she paid into it, so why wouldn't she take it? It's her money.
She's entitled.
Back.
That's right.
It was taken from her without her consent, therefore she took it back. I can't consent to having my own private insurance, therefore I can't pay for my own hospital care. Sorry, that's just the way the system is designed. I did not do it. I vote against it. If I could own my own private insurance, I would. but I can't. So what do you want me to do? Exactly. But what I really want to focus on is, why is this always the attack from the way the left attacks? They always have to use this kind of viciousness and the poking. It's like why they use the words Nazi, racist, homophobe, Islamophobe. It's always to attack, to hurt personally somebody. Mm-hmm. Never attacking the argument, ever. They never attack the argument. They attack the person. And I just find that's what that solidified in my mind. When I read that last comment, I let the rest go for the most part, was because I don't really care. But that last one was like, this is always how they do it. This is not an anomaly. This is their go-to. This is their strategy. To try to make you feel bad for being who you are. And that is the only attack they have.
It's true. It also comes from ignorance. It comes from ignorance. He's not willing to do the work to investigate the argument. He has no couth. He has no civility about him. And like you say, this is the left in general as well, not just this Todd guy. But that's what it is they see something they disagree with, and like a child, a juvenile with no manners, lashes out with the only thing that he's capable of doing, which is name-calling and wishing you ill.
And he thinks he's being clever. That's the part. They think they're being clever when they do it. And it's like, that's not clever. That's low-hanging fruit. That's like, really?
Here's one. This is another one that he left on, let me see, June 11th of our show, the soy boy ploy. He says, aside from the obvious stupidity of the vegan dude situation, so in other words, he's acknowledging that the situation is as stupid as we're suggesting it is, I take away two things from this. One, Adam has never ever been to a so-called black bar in Detroit or anywhere else, yet he considers himself an expert on the subject. Okay, first of all, it's not Adam, Todd, it's Robert. And so that shows exactly how well you're listening to the show when you get the name of the host wrong. And just because I've never been in a particular situation doesn't mean I can't comment on a situation. It's like, so you can't comment on the Second World War because you weren't alive then?
But it's not a personal truth to you. You can't comment about
what's going on in Paris because you've never been there?
It's not a personal truth to you. That's the problem. See, everything's about personal truth.
Yeah, it's not an objective. It's an objective truth. Yeah,
exactly.
And then number two, he says Danielle has never been anywhere. Period. Yeah, I want a worldly advice from these two. Lol.
That's
well, again, the logical fallacy is of the fact that you actually have to be a participant in a situation in order to make comment on it. You actually have to be there to comment on something that's happening there. That's just absurd. That's totally absurd.
Yep.
So, and not only that, he has absolutely no idea where you've been, and I think he mentioned somewhere else. Here we go. I think it's the same guy, but on our YouTube, he comments on one of our recent shows. I think it's him, under the title PKMTL. There are just so many similarities between Todd's Facebook page and this PKMTL's profile. He goes, Adam Vaughn, again, Adam, pay attention, Todd, has obviously never been to Europe. Really? What's obvious about that? I don't think I've ever said I've never been to Europe, have I? Possibly, because I've never, but again, an irrelevancy. Or whatever. Loser, a loser who has never left little London, Ontario, thinks Europe might be what? I don't know. He put a period at the end of that, might be. But yeah, I've been to, I think, maybe about 6 other countries. I'm not even from London, Ontario, so never left little London, Ontario.
You're not even in London, Ontario now.
That's right. I moved from London five years ago. So yeah, this is typical. In other words, it's casting aspersions on the person, attack the man, the ad hominem, rather than listen to the arguments that we're trying to present. There's so many logical fallacies in everything that Todd has commented on, and a lot of the people on who comment on our shows.
Well, the funny part is he's going to excuse this by saying, "Oh, he's just being a troll and just poking fun." Yeah, but the whole point about being a troll is to be clever, and he's not.
No. No.
He's missing the point of trolling. Trolling is to make light of something and make fun of it, but in a very clever way that makes sense and is factual. It points out the absurdity of a situation or points to the reality of a situation. He's doing neither. He's
No,
just simply
that's
being
that's another characteristic of the left.
They
is
can't
that,
meme.
yes, exactly.
They can't meme because
they
they
are
don't get it.
humorless. They
They're
are humorless. They have no comedy in their soul whatsoever. All they can do, all they have is hatred.
Yep.
It's a death cult, like I've said many times before.
Oh, it has been a while since you've said that. You're due.
No, it repeats. It needs repeating for sure.
Yes,
the
it
left
does.
is a death cult. Yeah,
It is.
and Todd is a good example of this death cult.
Yep.
Read some books. Do a little traveling, Todd. Take a pill, chill, sit down and compose your rash comments on our site. I just love. I can't wait to see what he's going to post.
Oh, I can't wait to
on this
see what
particular show. It's going to be a hoot, I'm sure. If
Hey,
he has
Todd.
the cojones to say anything.
Hey, Todd, we're trolling you. This one's for you. Cheers.
If you've enjoyed this presentation, visit justrightmedia.org for more programming that's not right-wing, it's just right.